Joel Turner, 15 years old, ninth grade, freshman year of high school.
And I'm Craig Turner. I'm Joel's father. I own my own marketing company in Western New York, Momentum Public Affairs, and I'm president of World Trade Center Buffalo Niagara.
I'm a massive introvert. I never really talk to people. I work on my own all the time, and it was just such a different way of thinking about things, because I would never just go up to people and start talking. It's not something I would usually do, but the idea that I could control the small talk, and I could ask questions about people and stuff like that, tell stories to get my point across. It was mind-blowing to me, because then all of a sudden I could start talking to people. I didn't have to be an extrovert, but I could talk to people like I kind of was. When I first read the book in, what was it, beginning of 8th grade, middle of 8th grade maybe? It was kind of rough for me to like wrap my head around that kind of thing, because it was a low point. I was going into high school, people were changing, I was losing friends all over the place. So it was rough for me to think like, I can do this, I can talk to people, I can succeed as an introvert. But then something happened, like early, maybe mid 9th grade, when I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna really dig into this. I'm gonna see what I can do with it. And then from then on, it just spiraled. It was like I started thinking about the process 24/7, trying to make sure I always had something to talk about if people wanted to talk. And now my dad can testify, I'm texting people all the time all of a sudden. Like I have a whole bunch of newfound friends. In fact, one of my more recent stories, I texted this one girl out of the blue just because I wanted to try it out, see if I could do it, and it worked. She's one of my closest friends now. It's been like maybe 1-2 months. Making friends before this book was unthinkable to me.
I'll tell you from his dad's point of view, 8th grade, last summer, Joel would wear a hoodie all the time. Like middle of the summer, he'd be wearing this heavy hoodie, and he would wear it like over his head, so all we could see was like a little bit of his face. And then a couple months into freshman year this year, well, I just noticed everything was different. He was standing taller. You could see his face. It was pretty incredible transition. When he texted the girl out of the blue a couple weeks ago, I mean, we talked about it first. He said, "I think I'm going to do this." We strategized it, and then he calls me back at like 10 o'clock at night and says, "I did it." I said, "Well, what was the reaction?" She said she was a little confused, but then it turned into a 3-hour conversation, and now they're big good friends, and they text every day, and I hear how the friendship's going and things like that. It's a world of difference. I mean, watching him tackle that race, watching him stand there and play solos with in the jazz band, it's unbelievable. It's very, very emotional for me, and I appreciate that he does talk about this stuff with me, and we have the opportunity to have those conversations. Especially for me, having not been able to think about things in this way for 40 years of my life.
Trumpet, I've been told I had this kind of skill. Every time I picked it up since 5th grade, I was told you're gonna be really good at this. Making friends, I was not told I was gonna be good at that. I was told I was the worst at that, in fact. So Introvert's Edge was so helpful, because I realized that whether people think I'm the worst at it or not, whether it's a natural talent or not, I can do it. Realizing things are skills means that everything that I do, or everything that I want to accomplish, I am responsible for. The moment you realize that, you're a step above the rest, because a lot of other people are stuck in that thought process that is, this is happening to me, or I am less because of external factors. When really it's just a matter of devoting time, effort, patience to this skill that you can develop no matter what. So immensely useful for any major introvert who doesn't feel, anyone really, who doesn't feel like they can do something, because it shows that It's not talent, it's not natural skill or ability. It's a process. Everything can be learned through a process. And that's the important thing to remember. So whether you want to get better at a sport, whether you want to get better at music or art, or whether you want to make friends, whatever it is, you can learn to do it. It's possible.
You begin to sell to yourself that you can do these things. And the steps in the Introvert's Edge, yes, they're designed to be how to sell a product or a service to somebody, but it's a process that will help you to sell anything to anybody, including yourself. I started to read it as a sales book, but I've used it for myself and then passed it on to Joel in many ways that had nothing to do with sales. The processes are for how to get things done in your life with perceived limitations that don't really exist.
I do try and tell people as much as I can from these books, because I know a lot of people who really need to hear it but don't know that they need to hear it. It's annoying to see people who need this but don't have this, to me at least, because it's like, friend, I know you can benefit from this. I've been telling you can benefit from this. Why not just here, borrow it, please? It's so much better. Like I'm still learning some things, but at the same time, I can look back at me from a year ago and say, now I can do the stuff that I didn't think I could do before.